Welcome to life. The church of love, faith, and commitment. Welcome to life. The church of love, faith, and commitment. Welcome to life. The church of love, faith, and commitment. Welcome to life.
If we do not, we should feel just a tad bit uncomfortable when God asks questions. Cognizant of the fact that he knows everything, it should make us just a little uncomfortable when the divine poses interrogatives to the human. His questions always leave me a bit uncomfortable. Where art thou? Who told you you were naked? What doest thou here, Elijah? Can these bones live? Will a man rob God? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? The questions of God are always challenging. Now, there's a question in this text that I think we have glazed over in our dealing with this text, as you've heard it preached times without number. And you know all of the component parts of this text. Of course you do. The friends of Jesus, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, you know that part. You know the part about the message sent to Jesus. He whom thou lovest is sick. You know that Jesus would never spend the night in Jerusalem when he was in Judea, but Bethany was a few miles outside of Jerusalem, and that's where he would stay. How many instances do you know we have of Jesus staying with somebody? Foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. But he stayed with them. He ate with them. They were his personal friends. How would you like to be a personal friend of Jesus and have him stay at your house overnight? We know that. We know that by the time that Jesus got to Bethany, Lazarus was dead and buried. And we know the end of the story. We know he went, they rolled away the stone, and he came back to life. We know the sisters were upset with him and said, if you had been here, our brother had not died. We know all of that. But Jesus made in this text one of the most startling, one of the most amazing, one of the most unbelievable statements that ever came out of the mouth of a human. I would ask you to join me in, after all of your years of reading the Bible and hearing it taught and going to Sunday school, I would ask you to ask the Lord to let you hear these words as if you've never heard them before. Now just imagine a human, a flesh and blood man. When Jesus said, don't worry, he'd already told the disciples this sickness is not unto death. He was already dead by that time. But he told the sisters, your brother will rise again. And she was already upset that he didn't show up or send healing. He didn't have to show up. He could just send the healing. But she said, now you're going to tell me to take comfort in his future, the eschatological, that which is coming. She said, why are you telling me something I know? At the resurrection, everybody gets up. And I need to stop and say, this came upon me before day this morning. You know, everybody's going to die, but everybody's going to rise. The wicked to destruction, and the righteous to everlasting life. And the Lord put in my spirit before I didn't get much sleep, but whatever happened this morning in the twilight, he said to me, you need to tell the folks that because we don't preach the judgment of God doesn't mean there won't be a judgment. Because we're afraid to preach it from our pulpits does not cancel the judgment of God. Somewhere I read it's appointed unto men once to die. Don't stop there. After this, and I'm afraid many of us preachers are going to have blood on our hands because we preached on radio and we preached on television. We've had hundreds sit before us and we did not tell them. Paul said, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. God has a side of mercy and love and kindness, but God has, as the old Scottish used to say, a stormy north side. Yes, God gets angry. So she said, I know there's going to be a resurrection. He said, no. And when I preach this, and it's really, I think, my favorite text, it is as if something goes all over me. Jesus said, I am. There are a number of I am statements in John, but listen to this. Sweetheart, the resurrection is not a thing. It's a person. If you go to John 14, the truth is not a thing. The truth is not a philosophical proposition. I am the truth. There's no such thing as finding a way. I am the way. I don't give life. I'm not a part of life. I'm life itself. Sweetheart, you are looking at the resurrection. I am. I wish I could stay there. I am what will cause dead men to get up from the grave. When I speak, dead men are going to live. When I speak, dead bones that have turned to dust are going to reassemble and their DNA will be I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, that means nothing to me, yet shall he live. He that lives and believes in me will never die, will never perish, will never come into ultimate death. And listen, that awesome, unbelievable, magnificent, glorious, stupendous, inexplicable word, probably the most stupendous word ever spoken by a human, except when he said, he that hath seen me hath seen the Father. You have to put those on the same scale. Now, but he put a question. He tagged that with a question. I'm glad he did. Because here's the problem. Notice that I kind of parsed my words carefully. I did not say in my subject the problem and the promise. Didn't say that. See, that would be to put that conjunction between the two. Here's the problem, here's the promise, here's the promise, here's the problem. No, it's not what I want to do. See, what I've discovered is that the reason that Jesus asked this question is because most of us have a problem with the promise. You see, here's my problem, and here's my promise. Most of us don't have a problem with the problem. Most of us believe in our problems. Most of us hold on to our problems. We like to talk about our problems. And a lot of us who even come to church don't believe our problems can be solved. Oh, we believe in the problem. If you listen enough, we'll tell you how we going through and what's wrong and how things aren't going our way and how bad things are and how bad we feel. And we can get so animated and we can get so exercised in talking about the problem, but we're a little light. And listen to me, we don't interrogate our problem. We pretty much settled with that. But we got questions about the promise. Can I really believe that? And most of us are a lot more empirical and scientific than we think we are, especially those of us in Western civilization. Someone asked Bishop Idahosa, he's dead now. He said, why don't Americans or people in Western civilization see the same miracles that you see in Africa? He said, you Americans are too rich. You don't need God. You don't really think you need God. I mean, sure, you come to church, you pray when you feel like it, you give a little money in church, but come on, y'all, let's get brutally honest. I mean, with me and you, I'm not preaching at you, I'm preaching to you. Do we really believe that if God doesn't help us, we're going to make it, or do we know, I got a job? Now, Bishop, don't take this religious stuff too far. I got an American Express. I've been on my job 30 years, and if I quit, I got a pension, I got a 401k. How many of us have truly abandoned ourselves to God, believing that's all the help we got in the world? Or do we kind of lean on some things we know that most of us have faith with a safety net? Another thing about us Western civilization, we're so empirical. See, we're determined that no one is going to deceive me. No, sir. I have a degree, Reverend. Now, you can stand up there and extrapolate. You can stand up there and elucidate. But, sir, I'm listening to you through the sieve of my own intellectual education. And you're not leading me down some primrose path like Jim Jones. I'm not going to believe that radical stuff you say. Now, I believe the part about he forgives and I can get to heaven. But all that stuff about all that miracle and exceeding abundantly above and God can do anything, I'm not going to be gullible. Oh, no, 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 no. I am not naive. And just because you get all excited about that stuff, you the preacher, you're supposed to get excited. But I'm empirical. I'm scientific. I extrapolate. I elucidate. I sift through with my existential, philosophical mind. In Africa, they have a question. They say, in the United States, you have the buildings. Nobody in them. In Africa, we have no buildings, but 25,000 people come to church. That's right. 25, 30, 50, 60,000 people come to church without buildings. And we can't fill up an air-conditioned building. Why? I really don't need that, Reverend. I mean, these promises you preach about, they sound good, but I'm leaning on something more substantial. When Jesus said, can I play with this text for just a second? When Jesus said, I'm going to take a little liberty with the text. When Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life, he said all that stuff, but I'm going to add my little part to it, so make sure you differentiate between what I say and what's in the book. He said, but this won't do you no good if you don't believe it. I'm just spitting in the wind. Because he said, yes, I'm the resurrection, but it won't help you if you don't believe it. And I've decided I'm going out on a limb. I've decided I'm going to make a fool of myself. I've decided to burn my bridges behind me. I've decided to act a plumb fool. I've decided to stand on his word, and I don't care how stupid I look, or how uneducated or unsophisticated. I've had to say, yes, I believe it. It sounds crazy. It doesn't make sense. It defies reason. It doesn't line up. It's not logical. You can't put it in a test tube. But I believe it. Church, I want you to know I believe exactly what he said. I'm going to stand on the promise. I don't care if the whole world gives way. I don't care if I look like the biggest fool ever been born. I'm going to stand right here and say, he said it and I believe it. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Lazarus is dead. Dead. I mean, sure enough dead. Graveyard dead. No life in him. Just dead. I can't describe it anymore. He helped me say dead. Okay, I don't have to describe it anymore. But on the other side of the scale, he said, he's dead. I'm the resurrection. He's dead. I'm the resurrection. And really what he's saying, which one do you believe the most? Do you believe in his death? Or do you believe I'm the resurrection? And I've decided I'm taking my side, my stand on the side of the resurrection. What am I preaching about? You may be sick, but I'm taking my side on the stand of you getting well. You might be broke, but I'm taking my side that he can put money in your pocket. You might be broke down and hurt, but I'm taking my side on he can put your broken heart back together. You might be in sin, but I'm taking my side on he can forgive and make you brand new. I'm taking my side not on the problem but on the promise. And I don't care how bad the situation is. I'm taking my side. And Life Center, I am going to end this message with a challenge. I dare you to see some stuff break out in your life like you never imagined. I dare you to see God move for you just like he moved for Mary and Martha. I challenge you to break out of your comfort zone and watch God bless you. Tell God this morning, I can't fully wrap my head around it, and I'm not sure I fully understand it, but I believe what you said, and I'm standing on the promise. I'm holding on, and I won't let go, and I put your promise over the problem. I dare you to see God do something amazing in your life. Abandon everything. Don't make me preach, it's too late. Give up everything. If somebody in your life does not believe, cut ties with them. If somebody in your life is speaking doubt, put in their phone, won't receive your call. If somebody's speaking into you that which is against the word of God, you don't need them in your life. Get some people around you who believe what you believe. Fill your mind with the word of God. Stand on it. Let the whole world give way. Stand on it. Let the lightning flash. Stand on it. Let the thunder roll. Let the water rise. Let the doctor shake their head. Stand on it. Stand on the promise. Dead Lazarus, the resurrection. I'm going to look at that dead Lazarus and say, and you notice something? Do you notice many times, for example, in the storm, Jesus said to Jesus, where was your faith? When he woke up in the storm, he said, what you wake me up for? When they couldn't cast the devil out that boy, they said, why couldn't he? He said, because of your faith. Could we be asking God to do something he cannot do until we exercise the right amount of faith? You can scream, you can shout, you can holler, you can fall out, you can get mad, you can whine. It's your faith. By the way, God, listen. If you cry about something, God will pity your tears, but that won't change your situation. Tears don't change your situation. Faith changes your situation. Pitching a fit, getting mad, staying home from church is not going to change your situation. You can pray 36 straight hours and fast for 52 days. You got to believe. And you'll come to God crying like a baby. And he'll take you in his arms and sit you in his lap and leave you in that condition. Or you can stand up and say, Daddy, I believe. Church, you have within you that power. Jesus wasn't moved by the death of Lazarus because he knew who he was. And he tried to communicate to the sisters who he was. And I got to close because I'm getting into this too deeply. And he was saying, and if you realize who he was, you won't pay death any attention. The only reason we pay attention to our problems is we're not enough in the promises. So I want you to make a commitment today before you leave this place. You're going to stop whining and complaining. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop telling your sad songs. Some of y'all love to sing somebody done somebody wrong song. Stop it. Stop whining. Stop crying. Stop licking your wounds. If they left, they left. Let them go. They're gone already. They forgot about you. Forget about them. You got to learn to forget about folks that forgot about you. Teach Bishop. He left. Take his picture down. Take his picture down. Take his picture off that dresser. Take his picture out of your wallet. Throw the cards away. Throw the old flowers away. Throw the jewelry away if you got to. He's gone. Let him go. Lose some weight. Get a new hairstyle. Go get you some new clothes. Start stepping out. A lady lost her husband, Maurice. She loved that man. He died. He died. He died. He died. She didn't leave him. He died. Oh, but she loved him so much. She thought about him. She smelled his perfume. She looked at his clothes. She just lived in the, he was dead, and she met a man, and he said, no, I can't date anymore. I just loved him so much. And he said, well, why don't you give me a chance? No. So after about 6 months, she decided to go out to dinner. So after about 2 years, she finally decided to get married. And on the way home from the honeymoon, he said, baby, I want you to know, I had a wonderful honeymoon, by the way. Said, I want you to know that I'm not trying to remind you of your husband. She said, who? Behave, y'all, okay? God will put somebody in your life will make you delete who you thought you couldn't live without. Look at somebody and say, who? Your problems are great. Your problems are real. Your problems are troublesome. Your problems are heartbreaking. Your troubles are, but folks, Jesus knew about the problem. But in the midst of the problem, he said, I am the resurrection. And by the way, Life Center, resurrection doesn't always mean something died physically. Sometimes it died spiritually. Sometimes it died emotionally. But he is the resurrection. Tell 3 people, believe the promise.